Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Very excited about today's video because we are going to be doing kind of a fall inspired makeup look, and I'm also going to be testing out a couple of products that I recently picked up from Beautylish. And by a couple, I mean that very literally. I picked up two things. I spent $100 and picked up two things. If you have been following me on Instagram, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. I did end up getting the Hourglass Ghost face palette, and to go along with that I also ended up getting a blending brush from Wayne Goss to replace my beloved MAC 217, which I think has officially died. And I thought for today's video, to create the makeup look on the eyes, I thought we'd dip into my Persona Identity 2 palette. I wanted to kind of create something nice and warm and very fall inspired, so I thought we'd kind of go with the warm shades in here. Maybe this lovely brown, this very nice kind of reddish orange right here. But I hope that you guys are excited about this one. Please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel if you haven't done that yet, and let's jump right into the makeup. So here she is. I tried my hardest not to touch it, but I failed. I already got a fingerprint on it. This thing is gonna get so dirty, but it is actually really beautiful. I was really on the fence about the packaging of this because it does have kind of the plastic rim around it, but it definitely still feels very high-end and very luxury. I mean, I probably would have preferred the other packaging, to be honest, but ultimately it's all about these shades inside. So let's open her up together. So there are the powders inside. Very lovely palette. I do think they're smaller than I thought they would be. I don't know what I was really expecting. I wanted to get out my Hourglass mini blush and kind of just compare the size because they actually look close to that size. I want to say it's about the same size as this thing right here. I'll do a little bit of looking into that and see if that's accurate, but it does look like these are basically all the size of their mini products. That kind of makes me just a little bit nervous because if I do use this as like an everyday palette, which I'm hoping to be able to use this kind of as an everyday palette, I feel like I'm going to run through it really quickly. I have heard some people say the Hourglass products last forever though. So the products inside here, you guys probably have already seen this. I know this palette's been out for a little while, but we have two finishing powders in here. This is the finishing powder in dim light. This is the finishing powder in diffused light. And then this one in the corner right here is the strobe powder in iridescent strobe light. So let me just swatch these on my fingers for you guys, just so you can kind of see what they look like. Kind of hard to tell. These are definitely the type of product that you really need to put on your face to really see the magic happen. At least I'm hoping. Then down here we have a bronzer and then two blushes. So the bronzer is in the shade Eternal Bronze Light, and then this blush is called Iridescent Rose, and it is a strobe blush. And then this last one right here is called Sublime Flush. So let me go ahead and swatch these on my fingers as well, just so you can kind of sort of see what these look like. So you definitely can see this one has a really nice kind of gold sheen to it. I'm excited to put that one on. I think that'll be really pretty. And this one's a little bit more of like a soft baby pink. We'll go ahead and jump right into applying this thing. I do want to say I already have all of my face makeup on. For today, I use the Milani Conceal and Perfect Foundation. For concealer, I use the CoverGirl concealers in the shades L100 and M100 mixed together. And I also do have some product in my eyebrows. I use the Ulta Beauty Ultra Slim Brow Pencil in the shade Ash Taupe. So let's go ahead and get my hair out of my face and let's get to work. I think I'm going to start with the bronzer. So I'm going to take this brush right here. This is basically like an angled, it's kind of like a angled blush brush, but it's a little bit thicker. This is from the brand Bella and Bear. I got this as a Christmas gift for my sister. I want to say she got it at TJ Maxx or Marshall's. I don't know if it's still available there, but it's just a synthetic, really nice powder brush. So I'm going to go ahead and dip into the bronzer right here. And we're going to just hope that magic happens, right? Add just a little bit around my hairline and my temples. It's really pretty. I know I've mentioned this before. I am on the hunt for a bronzer brush, and I'm actually thinking about picking up the BK Beauty bronzer brush. That looks like my type of bronzer brush. I love a paddle shaped bronzer brush like this one right here. This one's from Morphe. This thing sheds like a very sheddy dog. It's not a good one. I don't recommend it because it does shed so severely, but I love the shape of this type of a bronzer brush. So let me know if you guys have any recommendations for your favorite bronzer brushes. I just feel like I have a brush in pretty much every category that I consider like my favorite brush for that specific purpose or that specific category, except for bronzer. I just feel like I'm missing a good bronzer brush. All right, that's really lovely. I mean, you can't deny that's really, really pretty. I think the color is perfect. It's a perfect mix between a bronzer and a contour, which is how I like my bronzer shades to be. I like them leaning a little bit on the warm side, but not too orange or overly warm. So far, so good. Let's move into the blush. So for the blush today, I think I want to try out the middle shade, the one that had the little bit of sheen to it. So let's go ahead and try that one out. So I'm just going to take my Real Techniques blush brush and we're just going to kind of start building that up in the tip of that brush. Okay, that's pretty pigmented actually. You definitely can use a light hand with this color, but it's very pretty. It's a really good winter shade blush. Kind of gives your cheeks that just came in from the cold kind of wintry look. It has like the perfect amount of sheen to it. So I'm not quite sure how to use the finishing powders. I think we'll save these and we'll combine the two finishing powders once all of my face makeup is done. Maybe we'll go in with those. But right now I do want to go into the strobing powder right here and use that as a highlighter. So I'm just taking that on my Luxie tapered highlighting brush. That's pretty. That's really pretty. So hopefully you can see that. It definitely has a bit of a pink shift to it, which I don't mind. It's not overly pink, it's not iridescent, but it does have that soft pink shift. But it looks gorgeous on top of that pink blush. So far, I am pretty impressed. Am I $80 impressed? I think it's going to take me some time to figure out if I'm $80 worth impressed. That was a tough pill to swallow, and I have to say, so I ended up getting the brush in addition to the palette because Beautylish, as some of you might know, did a gift card sales event. So basically, if you spend $100 at Beautylish, they will send you a $20 gift card that you can then buy something else with. So maybe once I get my $20 gift card and buy a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, then I might actually think this is worth the $80 that I spent for it. But it's going to take me some time to get to know this palette. I know this is not going to be one that I fall absolutely in love with right off the bat because it was out of my comfort zone when it comes to the price. But I definitely don't have any complaints with it so far. I think it looks really beautiful. So before we add that finishing powder, I do want to move on and do the eyes next. So I have already primed my eyes with some concealer. I used, again, the CoverGirl concealer, put a little bit of translucent powder on them, and now we're going to dip into my Persona Identity 2 palette. But I want to try and get pretty much my entire eye look out of this one brush. So we're just going to see what this brush can do. It does feel super soft. I think this was $27, which is pretty pricey, but I'm going to say this, you guys, my MAC 217, I am retiring this thing. Well, I'll probably still use it on occasion, but this used to look a little bit more like this, but I've washed it so many times that it's just kind of slowly broken down over time. But I bought this brush back in 2008, so it is over 10 years old. I'm hoping that maybe this one will last me that long. I don't have a lot of high-end brushes, but that is proof that sometimes it pays to invest in a higher-end brush. Now I'm going to go into this palette. We're going to start off in this transition shade right here, the shade Loyal. I'm going to just pick a little bit of that up onto the brush and pop that. Oh, this is such a soft brush. Wow. It's definitely way softer than my MAC 217. The MAC 217 is lovely for blending, but it is a little bit scratchy. This is not scratchy at all. Oh, I feel like I am blending my eyeshadow with a baby bunny. I'm sorry if that sounded un-animal friendly. I was not implying that you should buy eyeshadow brushes that have baby bunny hair. If you've ever pet a baby bunny, this feels like a baby bunny. And who doesn't love a baby bunny, right? I'm kind of going to take what's left and just run it along the lower lash line. The thing that's really great about this brush is the shape of it. It's kind of pinched. See how it's kind of pinched? So it works great for blending, but it also works really good for packing and also running color under your lower lash line. If you're looking for a multi-purpose brush, like one brush that can do it all, this is the shape of brush that I would recommend. This one's actually a little bit flatter even than my MAC 217 was, but it's still doing a really good job of blending out the shadow. But time and washing is where you find out if a brush is worth the price. Where the quality lies is when you wash them. I love my Morphe M504 brush. I've washed that one countless times and have not had any issues with it, but I have other Morphe brushes that have not washed up so well. So I'm not sure if that's the specific brush that I got or if it's just that M504 in general seems to be a little bit better than some of their other brushes, but some Morphe brushes do not wash very well. Some of them shed. I've just found that in general as a brand, they're a little bit more hit and miss. So now I want to add a little bit of this kind of orangey red into the crease. Just taking a little bit of that on just the tip of the brush. We're going to put that just directly in my crease and we're going to kind of sweep that all the way across like a rainbow. I am going to add a little bit of darker brown that's going to kind of cover some of this up. I just want it to kind of peek out from underneath and add a little bit of that sort of warm color. This is such a pretty color. In fact, I think when I did that Persona 7 looks video, this was probably one of my favorite looks. The one where I think I used this and then the color beneath it, the color Empowered together, and I loved that kind of orangey cranberry eye. So I think it is official. This is the bougiest brush in my collection, and the Hourglass product is the bougiest product period in my collection. I'm just realizing I've never spent that much on a single makeup product. It's so hard. I mean, even though I might end up absolutely loving this and swearing by these powders, it's just hard. I just don't know that the difference between some really awesome drugstore products that I love, like I'm not sure that any difference could justify that massive price difference. Now we're going to dip into the dark brown in here, and we're going to, again, just kind of on the tip of this brush, I'm going to kind of use that almost to kind of outline, like I'm drawing liner on my outer lash line, and then I'm kind of swirling it just out in this corner right here to kind of blend it upwards. I just really want to smoke out this corner a little bit. And with what's left on the brush, without dipping back in, I'm just going to run that right under this, not far under the lash line, just right on that corner right there, just to tie that together. These shadows they're beautiful. I mentioned in that review, I do love this palette. Some of the colors are a little bit grungier than I like. I feel like I need to pair them with something a little bit lighter, but they're really stunning. And the formula, I'm telling you guys, Persona's formula, one of the best out there for sure. So in between every shadow, I just kind of wipe it off. But I'm going to actually go back into that kind of brick color, and we're going to add a little bit more of that to this outer part of the lash line. We're going to take just a little bit more of this and kind of just build that up right on this corner, and then kind of blend it and feather it in. We're going to be topping that with something else, but I want some of that color to peek through. And now, to top things off, I'm going to take this shade right here, which is the shade Honest. This is kind of like a peachy pink champagne, and we're going to actually pull that from the inner corner about halfway across the lid, just to kind of brighten things up a little bit. Now I'm going to wipe my brush off really good, and I'm going to take the cream shade in here, this matte cream, which is the color Kind. We're going to add a little bit of that under the brow bone, which I always forget to do this step. Although honestly, this is one of those steps, if you're going to cut a step out of the process, not that I don't think this is important, or that it can make a big difference. It's the one I cut out first when I'm pressed for time, which is probably why I always forget to do it. All right, so I think today we're going to skip the liner. I rarely do that, you guys. I rarely skip eyeliner. We're just going to go in with a couple of coats of mascara. For today, I'm going to use my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I'm going to add a couple coats of that, and I will be right back. Alright guys, so there are the finished eyes. Forgive me if you saw a black mark smudged on the side of my lip. I leaned in to do my mascara and saw it there. I have no idea how long it was there. But let's go ahead and move on to the lips. So for the lips today, I wanted to start off with this lip liner from Milani. This is just their Color Statement lip liner in the color 03 Nude. One of my favorites. It's the perfect consistency. I do love the MAC lip liners, but they're just a little bit too stiff. I find them to be a little bit tricky to put on. These ones are a little bit creamier, but they're not so creamy that they come off instantly. They seem to have decent longevity. It's just so easy to get good shape with these. So I'm also filling in just a little bit because we are just going to go on top of this with a gloss. So for my gloss, I'm taking the ColourPop lip gloss in the color Moonchild. Alright you guys, so I think that we are pretty much done. I do want to go ahead and add some setting spray. Oh, do I add setting spray first or finishing powder? So I've never actually used a finishing powder. Maybe there's instructions inside this Hourglass palette. No instructions, just a little picture which tells me where to apply it. We'll go ahead and apply it first. I think, let me know if you guys use finishing powder, if you do setting spray first and then do a finishing powder, if you finish powder and then setting spray, or if you do setting spray at all. Maybe you don't. So I'm going to take this powder brush from Moda, and I'm just going to mix those two shades together. And I think we'll just take those, I guess, everywhere, right? So now I want to add just a little bit of setting spray. I'm going to take a little bit of the L'Oreal Lumi Glow Mist. We're going to set this in place, and then I'll put my hair down and be right back with you guys. Oh, it smells so good. All right, you guys. Here is the completed makeup look. The Hourglass products are all on my face. I think they're lovely. I don't necessarily know that I look like an angel. I kind of thought that I should. with how much I paid for it, but it is beautiful. Again, you guys, this is something that's going to take me some time to really get to know my feelings on this product, and if I think it's worth it, or even if I think it's better than just some of my really good drugstore products that I have. So just be aware of that. I am always a little bit more skeptical of things that cost me a lot of money. Even that Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter, which I love now, took me a while to fall in love with it because it took me a while to get over kind of the bitterness of spending as much money as I did on that product. And I kind of feel like this might be the same way, but I will definitely keep using it and keep you guys updated. I do think it's pretty. My skin looks really pretty and healthy looking today, but I really want to try it out with other products and see if it's in my head or if it works with everything, or, you know, it's going to take me some time. As for the brush, this thing is pricey. $27 for a single eye brush. That's pretty expensive for an eye brush, but this did a fantastic job at applying my eyeshadow. It did everything that I need a brush to do. If you're looking for a multi-purpose eye brush, this is the exact type of brush that I would recommend to do pretty much everything. If you're okay with using the same brush for everything, which sometimes can be a problem depending on the eye look. But generally speaking, as long as I keep a clean rag near me to wipe it off between colors, I don't find it to be a problem as far as colors getting muddy or mixing together. As far as the quality of this thing, I'm pretty certain it's going to be high quality, but really the only test for that is time, and that's not something I can really comment on at this point, but I do have high hopes for this brush, and so far I'm very impressed. And then of course everything else you guys have probably already seen before, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys have picked out the Hourglass Ghost palette, either this full face palette or also the blush palette. A lot of people recommended the blush palette as well. I think of all the things I tried on first impression today, the blush is probably my favorite so far. Before I close out this video, I wanted to make a little announcement for you guys and kind of get your insight and input and involvement in this announcement that I have. I had mentioned in some recent videos and comments in my recent Will I Buy It specifically about doing possibly a full month of nothing new here on my channel. I've done that before, but it was back before I had very many subscribers. Some of you that have been around for a while may remember that, but I wanted to do it again, and I decided that I'm going to do that during the month of January. I know that sounds like a long ways away, but we all know it. Once Halloween is over and November gets here, basically we blink and the holidays are over. But I thought this would be a good opportunity for us to get through the holiday season, Christmas time, all the new releases. Maybe some of you will be getting or gifting some things for Christmas. But once January rolls around, if you are feeling like you need a break, like maybe you want to just take a breather and enjoy the things that maybe you got for Christmas time, or just enjoy the products that you already have in your collection, I'd love to have you guys join me during this full month of nothing new. Now, I personally will be doing a full month of nothing new. I'm basically putting myself on a no buy for the month, really just focusing on the things that I already have, but that is the only limitation that I am giving myself. As for how you guys want to be involved, that is completely up to you. You do not have to do a no buy with me if you do not want to. You could even do your own thing and maybe do like a full month of no new lip products or no new bronzers, whatever it is you would like to do to kind of join me on this journey. But I would love to get you guys involved in this in any way, even if that just means you guys watching my videos. I would love to hear your guys' feedback on types of videos that go along with that theme for the month of January. So what kind of products would you like to see me reach for? Are there any types of tutorials you would like to see? 7 looks videos with older palettes? Any feedback that you guys can give me, I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below. I'm really hoping that this will be a fun experience for you guys. So I hope that you guys will join me for this. I hope that you guys will get excited about it. Maybe even share this idea with people around you. I'm hoping to maybe even get some other creators on board in some small way. But with that announcement, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. Again, if you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope that you'll consider subscribing and stick around for a while. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye. Bunny out of a hat. That's where I keep my clean rags. Crooked? I think it's crooked. Oh well, nobody will notice. It'll take me. Chase, seriously? Hey.
Hey. Can I go to Jack's house with Jackson?
Sure. Down your head.